Hi everyone, it is April 21, 2022, and let's take a look at the crypto markets today. All right, so the US market has fallen a lot. However, it is surprising that Bitcoin actually managed to stay above 40,000. I suppose everyone knows that Netflix has bombed out on their earnings, and it actually triggered a 30% crash in their share price in a single day. However, as you can see, with this Bitcoin, it managed to stay afloat, very resilient at 41,000. And that is actually one of the best ways to see a safe haven resilience. So far, Bitcoin is resilient. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well here. Let's just take a look at the top cryptos. So the top cryptos has fallen since April 1, and you can see that it has fallen just like Bitcoin did. However, unlike stocks that have continued going down these past few days, Bitcoin and Ethereum managed to stay above the $3,000 for Ethereum and above $40,000 for Bitcoin, which tells us some resilience, although we are not out of the woods. What I mean to say is that while it is very strongly resilient, there still remains resistance here at 3,300 for Ethereum. And obviously, there still remains resistance on Bitcoin here at about $45,000. So although that is strong here at about 40K, we still aren't out of the woods. There still remains these resistances at 45,000. There has been a lot of movement when it comes to Coinbase because of launching their NFT marketplace. However, as you can see, almost all stocks actually suffered, like all growth stocks fell because of Netflix, about the bad quarter that necessitated them to introduce potentially ad models or lower tier using advertising models. So we are seeing Coinbase give up some of their gains from 154 to 147. And we are going to see a few days from now a couple of earnings results that could trigger Coinbase either to go up or actually to fall down. So right now, the market in the US is in earnings season. And so most of the cryptocurrencies might actually be judged on whether their revenues are slowing down or they're actually falling down. If you are quite bearish because the earnings recently in the season might actually trigger slowdowns, unfortunately for Coinbase, and this is a large cryptocurrency exchange in the US, this is potentially, unfortunately, here at about $200, you're seeing that downside move. If a break of this $140 happened, then we then open up to new lows, which is going to trigger a lot of gap downs in case earnings happen, in case it disappoints. So this is a very tricky a day, May 10 for Coinbase. Anything can happen on those days. And right now, people are watching very carefully their positions on or before earnings. So let's take a look as well on Solana here. Just like Bitcoin, Solana has managed to stay above. This is trading at above 100. Let's take a look at Binance here, also trading above 400, steadily here at about 420. So far, cryptocurrencies hasn't fallen materially, especially since Silvergate Capital last 2 days after earnings reported good numbers. That's why it actually triggered from $110 here to as high as $142 here in just a matter of 2 days. Now, I would say that the US market is very choppy and very volatile depending on companies that are reporting earnings. When you see earnings actually are beating estimates, it's actually going up, like in this case for Johnson & Johnson and P&G. Procter and Gamble. However, my theory is because it's also very high, there is a potential double top happening, which can trigger a lot of profit taking or sell-offs. So right now, crypto market is actually in a situation where people are generally in the buy and sell mode, and it's not yet quite safe. You're seeing crypto total market cap here at about 2.15 trillion. You're always getting some selling pressure, which is near $48,000 for your Bitcoin. And yet you do have some buyers who are still willing to buy at about 1.8 to 1.6 trillion. That's why there is a range here. We are seeing that crypto markets nowadays are more in the range rather than really a strong bias. However, what we have a strong bias for is that most of the cryptocurrencies, however, have suffered just the same with growth stocks, especially Bitcoin miners. So let's take a look at the ETFs of Bitcoin. You can see that this is the Bitcoin miner ETF. After rallying around April, around March 29, it has suffered and just traded all-time lows now. And the problem is that even as Bitcoin continues to be strong and Ethereum continues to be strong, with the rest of the Bitcoin related stocks falling down, my assumption is that the market is weak and there is very little support for Bitcoin, if even if it is trading above 41K today. So the market is quite cautious, and we would actually be on the cautious side for the people who are owning or planning to own Bitcoin. Actually, at 41,000, it might be on the cautious side. It might be best to be staying sidelines first before getting in. There is a question: what platform is best to trade Bitcoin? There have been a lot of platforms to trade Bitcoin. In IBKR, you can already apply and get the trading permission in Interactive Brokers to buy and sell Bitcoin. Interactive Brokers is one, eToro is one, Binance is also another. So I believe that those are the most popular platforms to actually trade Bitcoin. I think Filipinos mostly use also CoinsPH and Abra. So those would be suitable alternatives for people who are looking to buy and sell Bitcoin and put it in their portfolios. So far, though, as you can see, it is in the cautious zone. Despite strength here, about 41.5, we're mostly just cautious and we're not really being aggressive in saying that this is already the bottom, which was coinciding here at about 38,000 just recently. Why is it that we are cautious? It's really overall market. So you're seeing that the world indices are falling down. Here, Hong Kong is falling 1.5%. Now, I understand that China might not play a huge role when it comes to Bitcoin, but I do understand that equities have a strong correlation with Bitcoin as well. And you can see that as Hang Seng Index continues to fall, and as the US Nasdaq, while going higher, it's going higher because of Tesla's blowout earnings. My idea, however, is that with these resistances still in play, you can see that 15.3, 15,000, and potentially this 14.4, that rallies would still be shorted. It is better to wait for cryptocurrencies to bottom out alongside the Nasdaq 100, which might coincide somewhere here about 13.7 to 13.500 areas. So I would be waiting more on the lower levels rather than buying in the middle side. So here we're still cautious because although it can go up, we need more catalysts. Perhaps the catalyst would be stronger earnings season coming from the big guns, not just Tesla, but potentially Google or Facebook next week, or even Apple. So I think there is a huge correlation between cryptocurrencies and equities so far, as they are quite interlinked for most fund managers who have a lot of crypto. I'll show to you as well a lot of stocks trading in the US that are cryptocurrency related or fintech related. So for people, Square, aka Cash App, allows people in the US to actually buy and sell Bitcoin. And you can see that the Cash App has gone down from $150 to 115 since April 1. So we're seeing still a downtrend here. I'm not sure if Square or Block will continue to fall below $100. Although we like the platform, we like the company, but there is that resistance in the short term that we cannot actually refuse to not protect the downside in case 114 just collapses another 20 to 30%, just like what happened on Netflix. So mostly it's really all about the earnings. So Square is reporting, most of the earnings are reporting next week and on May. So there's really a lot of movement that are very hard. I'm scalping GMT. I'm not sure about its fundamentals. I believe GMT is more of a play to earn company, but I am also not too familiar. So GMT is a play to earn related cryptocurrencies going up. I guess you just have to trade it. You scalp it. That's correct. That's how you should trade these things, because I don't think that anyone who is really trading GMT would really go long term on it, as a lot of cryptocurrencies today are still very fickle when it comes to sustainability, unless you're talking about the top 10 cryptos, which are still very few. So I wouldn't be too bullish, especially at this type of market. You can see actually last night, you're seeing a lot of declines on related cryptocurrency exchanges and crypto miners itself. Other than Silvergate, everyone else is actually teetering to the downside. So you've got Bitfarms, Hot Mining all falling down. You've got Argo Blockchain falling down. Chinese Bitcoin miner, Canaan falling down. You really have a lot of companies in the cryptocurrency space, predominantly on the sell side. That's why even for MicroStrategy, I would say that the best thing to do is more on the sell side rather than on the buy side. You're seeing MicroStrategy just like on April 1 fall down from 520. Although Bitcoin hasn't fallen down yet, I do believe that MicroStrategy is getting sold actually here at about 475 or 480. So I would be cautious even as Silvergate has been going up these past few days. It's possible that Silvergate might actually get a rejection here at about 150 or 160. So we would be more on the cautious side here. And that would be all to say for cryptocurrencies. Not much as I don't think there's a big news to discuss except the Coinbase NFT platform launch. So we know that Coinbase is now competing with OpenSea. The fees are 2%. Facebook is also in the game with NFTs, although nobody's going to patronize metaverse of Facebook because they plan to charge a hefty 50% fee, which is very high compared to the 1.5% to 2% fees that companies like OpenSea, Coinbase, and Sorare will charge. So the world is actually very bearish on Facebook. You could see that FB, despite their plans on the metaverse, has just gone down after last quarter's earnings. This is also getting another sell-off. It might be another risk this April 27 if FB continues to the downside. A lot of people are actually, in my view, still shorting Facebook, and they might be actually staying away in the hopes to buy it, say, 150 or 160. So I don't know exactly how low Facebook will go, but when you see the charts in the past, your next support on Facebook is lying here at about $140 or somewhere at 160 should this area of 186 break down. So we will see how the earnings will be, but the market is already selling it off and showing a consensus short on on Facebook, especially after the Netflix earnings decline. So market is very bearish. You could see that all the other stocks that got fallen down before is continuing to sell down, perhaps to even new lows. Take a look at PayPal. It's now trading near that low of about March. And we are set to either hit new lows before the earnings on April 27. A lot of people are fearful. That's why you can see that the NASDAQ, a lot of people are starting to sell those tight resistances here above 14.2, 14.1. We will be on the edge here, so more on the short side. That's it. And congrats to anyone who's actually making money into crypto. But my suggestion is it's cautious time. Thank you very much. And that would be it. Bye-bye. Thanks.